Hello, I'm Mike Kelleher from Cogent Legal, and I'm here to tell you about a free webinar, PowerPoint Skills for Litigators. It's going to be held on Wednesday, October 8th at noon Pacific. At Cogent Legal, we help attorneys with graphics and presentation technology to get their message across in court. One of the things we end up doing a lot is helping people with PowerPoint. PowerPoint is a ubiquitous presentation tool, but it is often not well suited to what litigators want to do in court. It has too many fancy gee whiz features, has too many gizmos, and attorneys often don't have the time to think about and learn how to use PowerPoint. So that's what we're going to try to address in this webinar. If you're interested, please go to the website at cogentlegal.com/blog/webinars and sign up. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview of what we're going to talk about in the webinar if you want more information. So one of the things that is wrong for PowerPoint and attorneys is that it presents many options that don't match very well to what attorneys want to do in court. It has a lot of features that may look cool in marketing, but are not well suited to being in court. So for example, one of the templates here shown is something that Microsoft has suggested as a way to format slides. They have a lot of different templates, but really very few of the templates are well suited to what you might want to do in court. In court, you might want to use something more like this. Many attorneys do like a more muted presentation. It comes across as a little more professional in court. So what we're going to do in this webinar is create and work with a template like this and show how you can take this template. We'll give it to you with the webinar. Take this template and modify it to how you best want to present your case in court. And we'll talk about how you edit these things, how you make your own template and layouts that work well for you. The whole idea of this is visuals that help you communicate. Your message, what you're trying to tell the jury or the judge are the most important things. And your PowerPoint slides should support that and not compete with that. So what I've done to prepare for this webinar and what we'll talk about here is setting up a variety of different layouts that help you create visual images that support your message, and getting rid of and deleting a bunch of things that don't work very well, so that you can have tools that are a good toolbox for you to create the message that you want to present in court. So for example, here on this slide I've got 9 different layouts laid out. I've got portrait scale zoom-ins and landscape zoom-ins. This slide is actually an example created with the landscape zoom-in, in that I have a small screenshot of a document in the lower left, some highlight boxes, a highlight ray that comes out and shows a blow-up. We'll talk in the webinar about how to create these type of things yourself and use the layouts that I've created to make them. Another thing we'll talk about is timeline slides. It's often you're going to want to present your case as part of a chronology. What happened when? And to do that, one good way that we have found that many attorneys want to do is present a copy of the evidence and then some information, a blow-up of a section of that evidence. So here's an example of that. We've got a document on the right with a highlight box and a blow-up that is easy to read. It's got a nice big font. So, and then a flag showing on the timeline when this occurred. We'll talk about how to create these kind of slides, and we'll talk about some of the best practices that make these most useful for you in court and help the jury and the judge understand your argument. Talk about how to then take these themes and save them yourself so that you can reuse these things and not recreate the wheel all the time. We'll talk some about the tools of navigating your way around PowerPoint. For this webinar, I'm going to be using PowerPoint 2013, which is the most current version for Windows. Even if you're on an earlier version, if you're back on PowerPoint 2010, it's very similar. So I think you'll still get a lot out of the webinar. But I do want to put a plug in for 2013. I upgraded myself recently. It is a much more powerful tool. There's a lot of good features in it. It's worth upgrading to, in my view. We'll talk about, for example, navigating your way around a long slide deck. And one of the tools that I think is really underused is the ability to create sections of your PowerPoint that, for example, here on the slide you see I've got an intro slide section, I've got a tools section, I've got edit master section. You can create sections that will help you write your slide deck and navigate around within your slide deck easily. We'll talk about creating a toolbox of useful elements that you can reuse again and again on slides. So once you get something formatted well and you want it consistently used, having a slide like this, which is a toolbox slide where you can pull those useful elements from and copy them and use them in your next slide, is a good way to do it. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and of course you'll get the toolbox that comes with this template with the webinar. So again, PowerPoint Skills for Litigators. It's going to be Wednesday, October 8th at noon Pacific. It's going to be a webinar that we're going to deliver over Adobe Connect, which is our software for webinars. You can get all the information and register by going to our website at cogentlegal.com/blog, and then the webinars page /webinars. I think you will get something out of it. I highly recommend it, and hope to see you there. Thanks very much.